Tech Energy podcast in collaboration with Disrupt Now, Midwest Con. We're going to be talking about tech jobs at AWS, tech jobs in the Midwest with my guy. I'm not going to say his name because I want to make sure that I don't mispronounce it. But good conversation today. Make sure you share this live with people in your network that are interested in jobs at AWS, interested in the role that he has, and just interested in tech in general. And yeah, let's get into it. By the way, we're at Midwest Con. It's in Cincinnati. Really dope conference, talking about everything about emerging technology, artificial intelligence. So 2026, make sure you're here. But yeah, I'm going to pass the mic over to my guy here, and he's going to introduce himself.
Hey folks, my name's Dalian Ayekpour. I'm a senior technical account manager at AWS. Been in tech for a little over 8 years now in various roles, and yeah, excited to get into today's episode.
Yeah, man. So for people that don't know what a senior technical account manager is, how would you describe that?
That's a great question, one I get often. Very ambiguous title by nature, but as a senior technical account manager, I'm seen as the customer strategic advisor for AWS and their workloads, particularly in the operational sense. So they have things running in the cloud. I'm focused on how do we optimize that, how do we make it more secure, more resilient, make sure things are running as expected. So if anything goes bump in the night, they're prepared and ready to go.
Gotcha. How long have you been in this role?
So just hit 5 years at Amazon, and 3 of those years being in a technical account manager role.
Gotcha. And then when it comes to getting a role like this, what advice do you have for people that are listening? Like, what kind of skill sets are they looking for? Do you have to have a certification? Yeah. What was the path that got you into this space?
Yeah, no, definitely certifications help, especially for AWS ones. Definitely helps you get a leg up in the space and shows that you have validation on the services that you're leveraging and using. Additionally to that, just really honing in on your communication skills, right? So I'm having a lot of meetings with customers, and if I'm not able to portray the advantages of what I'm suggesting to them, we're not going to get far, right? So understanding how to hold the attention of an audience, portray your point in a clear, concise manner that people can understand will definitely help you as you look for technical account manager roles.
Awesome, man. So we're going to get more into the technical account manager role in a second, but for the folks that are just like, I would love to get a job at AWS. I'd love to get a job in the Amazon ecosystem. I know it's got a really interesting, complex interview process. I know there's like things that Amazon looks for in their employees, et cetera. What advice do you have for people that are looking to get into Amazon, and what roles do you think are most prevalent at Amazon that might be the least risk of layoffs? Well, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, no, let's unpack that a little bit. I guess, well, in terms of, resistant to layoffs, I'd say the technical account manager role is definitely good for that. Even in the age of AI that we're currently in, you can't replace people, right? So human communication is still going to be around, still going to be a coveted skill, and especially if you can excel at that, you're going to have those opportunities. So technical account manager role, at least from my perspective, is here for the long run. And in terms of finding and observing those opportunities to get into AWS, and it's a hard job market this year. So if you've been in the field through 2025, you've seen a lot of companies are slowing down hiring, reducing, doing less with more, or doing more with less, I should say. And so getting creative is definitely going to, how do you set yourself apart from everyone else trying to find those opportunities? So if that means not applying through traditional channels, right? We all see the LinkedIn, quick apply, you hit that. In this day and age, that's oftentimes not going to get you the opportunities that you're truly seeking out. So similar to what we were just talking about before we went live, is connections is the real currency in today's age. Having social validation, so where I can go to someone and, hey, I know that this person's qualified, and then I have an opportunity and I can feed them, make that referral. That's really what's going to get you the top opportunities, what you're looking for.
Gotcha. You mentioned the conference that you're going to be speaking at. It's I don't want to mess it up. reInvent.
AWS reInvent. That's coming up. So if you're unfamiliar with that, it's early December. So if you haven't bought your tickets, get them soon. Hope to see you there. And I'll also be doing a talk at the Northwest Ohio AI Week that's coming up in November. So
Okay. So let's talk about reInvent. If you're a job seeker or somebody interested in being part of the Amazon ecosystem, is that a place that would make sense for them to go and network, et cetera? And if so, like why?
well, it really gives you an opportunity to get an idea of the latest and greatest in the AWS ecosystem, get integrated with our partners. So there'll be a lot of different vendors, partners who are leveraging AWS. And so it's often a good time to make some of those in-person connections rather than just applying. You can maybe meet a recruiter there who has some opportunities. So really getting your foot in the door, making a good impression, and also showing that you're eager to learn, right? So a lot of benefits to being in a space like that with so many smart people, so many companies that are really pushing the needle in terms of cloud computing and technology in general.
Yeah. And if you're on the IG Live and you want me to ask any questions, just put them in the comments. And if I like it, I'll ask. If I don't,
Always a good
one. All right, cool. So in terms of that AI week that you mentioned, haven't heard of that one yet. Would love to kind of learn more about what that is and all that.
Yeah, so I think I didn't give the right title. I think it's called Great Lakes AI Week, and they're currently actually doing one, I believe, in Columbus this week as well. It's a series of generative AI conference, right? So obviously that's been all the rage in 2025 and the last few years, right? Just generative AI coming to the masses and how companies are trying to leverage that. So this is a conference to kind of give people an understanding of how they can leverage it in their own capacity, get an understanding of how to productionize that, right? So a lot of companies get stuck in the POC phase. How do I bring this production? How do I have the security guardrails in place to make sure that's a viable solution? So the conference is really about enabling people who are new to AI or just trying to get caught up in the space to really understand what you can do with this, wonderful technology.
Dope. So December, you said?
That one's coming up in November. I believe November, don't quote me on the dates, early November, like 9th, 10th, something like that.
Okay. Good stuff. And I guess when it comes to the account manager role, are they hiring?
We might have a couple open recs, but it's definitely slowed down. We've definitely been looking at internal, right? So it's been a lot of shaking up in the ecosystem.
Right,
so
if somebody's going to get laid off, they're looking for places to provide them opportunity.
Exactly, right. So how we're shifting the workforce around, that's been the primary focus. But to say there will be no opportunities, I wouldn't say that, right? Just more limited.
What role do you think has the most opportunities at Amazon right now?
Good question.
You might not have the answer. But.
Yeah, no, I'd say, definitely in the emerging technology space, right? So if you're just starting to learn AI now, you're probably behind the ball, but if you've been in the space for a while and have kind of built up that pedigree to put yourself in position as a data scientist or something like that, there's definitely a lot of movement in those organizations.
Gotcha. Okay, good stuff. And one question I like to and it's not really a question, it's just more so making sure that you get off whatever information you want to get off. If there's one question you wish I would ask, what would that question be, and what's the answer that you really want the people to know, either about yourself, about the career paths, whatever it is?
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, it'd be, how do you curate your career, right? I think that's something that I focus a lot of time on, and I've definitely had an untraditional path to get to where I've gotten. So to answer the question that I asked myself, it's really being creative, right? Like I said this earlier, but your normal process, maybe applying on LinkedIn, Indeed, Dice, wherever you were finding jobs and just sending out your resume into the ether, it's not boating results. I've seen commonly on LinkedIn people talking about they put in 400 applications and maybe got like a couple replies, and that's kind of more mainstream now. Like that's not the minority a lot of the time. That's the majority these days. So get yourself out, come to MidwestCon. If you're not here this year, we want to see you out here in 2026. Go to Great Lakes AI Week, get in the rooms, get with people who are doing things, who are putting themselves out there. And that's really where you'll find those opportunities to develop yourself, to rub shoulders with individuals who will have those opportunities that you're looking for. So don't be afraid to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. It's not always traditional, or it's not always like the common thing to do or something that you're comfortable with, but often in uncomfortability is where you breed the best results.
Yeah, man. Speaking of uncomfortable, we're going to get you out here on more podcasts, more stages. And I mean, you're obviously pretty comfortable with it because you're a confident dude. But at the same time, it's just like the attention economy. I'm telling people, the more people that know, trust, and like you, the more opportunities just come inbound that you never really expect. I have hiring managers that are just like, yo, I love what you talk about with sales. Are you open to positions? And I'm like, nah, but here's some people in my network that are. But it's just always good to be in that kind of position. How has being on Amazon's Twitch and different type of platforms been beneficial to you just in terms of your network?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gotten reach out. So I was at the New York Summit, and I remember a young gentleman came up to me and, was talking to me about, hey, I've seen some of your episodes. We're talking about some tech things, talking about opportunities, right? Able to give him connections, give him advice. So really just being people know you before when you enter the room, kind of helps build rapport, right? So, hey, I've seen you here. I at least know an idea of what you're doing and what you're working on and what you're focused on. So it really helps kind of bridge those gaps when you're walking into a room, no one there. If you have a digital presence, digital economy is real and thriving. So if you have that community, have that presence, it really helps you do things without even saying a word, right? You walk in the room, hey, I think I've seen you before. What do you do, right? At least even if they don't remember you immediately, you can kind of bridge that gap quickly.
Yeah, credibility, trust factor, all those things. What is that Twitch that you were talking about? Like, how often do you guys do that Twitch? What do you talk about on the Twitch?
So I do a couple different series for AWS. Most frequently, you can find me on AWS Gen AI Live. So that's something we do on Wednesdays. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. So we bring on different generative AI partners who are working on AWS in the ecosystem and kind of understand what their latest and greatest products are, where they're seeing the roadmap for Gen AI go, what's their customers' trends they're seeing in the space. So that's a really fun one if you're trying to learn more about generative AI or you're trying to get with more partners. Definitely one I recommend. Additionally, also in the midst of a series, training people up, giving you the kind of the roadmap for our machine learning associate engineer certification. So it's a new one that came out, I believe, last year. And so we're kind of giving you the roadmap, going over the exam guide, giving you some tips and understanding how to, understand that information if you're unfamiliar, and if you haven't taken an exam before, what are some of those good things to know before sitting for an AWS exam. So we can find that one on Fridays. I believe it's 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time, if I got that right. So definitely hope to see you there. Drop a comment if you're tuning in from this podcast, and would love to link with you there.
Yeah, and if you're following me on IG and you're not following him, make sure that you click the follow on this guy. He's about to go crazy on Instagram, YouTube, all the things. LVRD.KL says, love the conversation here. Dowling is the man. So shout out to him or her. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell with the.
That's my man. Knowledge. My brother, right, actually.
Shout out there. And then question I was going to ask you too is, you mentioned like if you're learning AI now, you might be late, right? But better late than never.
100%.
So today is your day to learn. If you were to give people some of your favorite AI tools besides, the obvious ChatGPT, that people should be thinking about, which ones are they and how can they apply them?
Yeah, so the one, I guess what I use personally, I guess for like a ChatGPT competitor is Claude. So Claude AI, They have a similar app experience, so useful, very similar use cases that you can use ChatGPT for, just different models. So sometimes I like to compare the two to see what the output is, which one's better for the use case I'm using. In terms of work, Kiro, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a agentic IDE that came out recently. So if you're in the web development software space, definitely extremely powerful, very helpful. I've seen it do leaps and bounds over even some of the early ones like Copilot or even Amazon Q Developer. So it's definitely been helpful to understand code, natural language processing, vibe coding, that's all the rage. So definitely helpful with all those technologies.
Yeah, man. Freaking love vibe coding. I vibe coded my website.
Hey, that's the way to do it these days.
Yeah, and it's freaking awesome. It took me about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Lovable. If you guys don't know about Lovable, if you're trying to create a website from scratch, you put in a couple paragraphs and boom, it builds it out for you. Then you say, link this to this, link this to that. Have you tried Lovable yet? Or?
I have not. I'm going to have to try it right after this, though.
It's a free trial. I'll send you my link so I can get some credit.
Oh, there we go.
If you
All for
create
it.
Something. But yeah, that one makes me feel like I'm super not technical. Some enterprise software sales. So I talk business with executives, but I'm not the technical person. So the fact that I was able to make a website is crazy.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to your, I guess, path in tech, where do you see yourself going, or what are you excited about for the future?
Yeah, well, I definitely am enjoying my time in my current role, working with customers, being close to the things on the ground, how things are being developed. So enjoy the space, but we're definitely looking to elevate into management. I love developing people, love seeing people do more than what they thought was capable. So getting an opportunity to grow in that and help develop people for the long term and as a main 9-to-5 job, that'd be great. So definitely a space I'm looking to grow into.
Somebody asked, can you spell the AI tools he mentioned?
Yeah, so Kiro, that's Kiro. Take a look, join the wait list. It's in such high demand that they had to put out a wait list for it. So when you get your opportunity, you can test that one out. And then Claude AI is CLAUDE.
Yep.
Claude.
Awesome. And when it comes to MidwestCon and conferences like this, why is it so important that people actually get in the room, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, especially in the Midwest, it can sometimes, I know I felt this way, sometimes you can feel siloed. There's not as much of a presence you might think traditionally with tech here, but if you're finding those rooms, they're more pockets, right? So finding those pockets of people who are doing things, who are innovation hub, right? Or we're doing things that are groundbreaking, who are trying to mold and create the landscape where we're currently at is great to see. So Rob putting this on MidwestCon, great to be a part of this, being a Midwest native and seeing how we're looking to grow the community is something that's beautiful to see. So getting out here, getting in the rooms, building that community around you to find those and curate those opportunities is very beneficial.
Awesome, man. And then when it comes to connecting with you, what are some good ways for people to connect with you if they wanted to or follow you?
Yeah, well, I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you look me up, Dalien, Dalien, I'm sure I'll be one of the only ones that show up there. So easy enough. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm not the biggest Instagram user, but trying to curate that experience as well. And my tag is develop_with_Dal. So yeah, hope to see you on one of those platforms. Reach out. Always happy to give advice, tips, encouragement for individuals trying to develop in the space.
Awesome, man. So I really appreciated this conversation. We'll definitely have a longer, more in-depth conversation in the future. But any last words you want to leave with the audience before we wrap it up?
Oh, I mean, just to reiterate what we said here, make sure you're getting in the rooms, make sure you're putting yourselves in places you're not maybe traditionally in, right? So I know as tech people, we can sometimes be considered introverted, but getting yourself in a room of like-minded individuals really has helped me shape my career and my advancements. So I encourage you to get out here and hope to see you next time.
Awesome. Appreciate you for being here.
Of course.
And for everybody else that is watching, one, thank you so much for tuning in. Two, as I kind of alluded to before, one thing that has been a life changer for me is basically building a personal brand online. And the goal of my personal brand wasn't money, it wasn't clout. It was really just putting people on to resources, job opportunities, as well as just an understanding of what software sales is. Because especially in the Black community, I didn't feel like many people knew what software sales was. I would bring that up and they'd be like, "Oh, can you fix my laptop?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm not on the Geek Squad. Like, I sell enterprise technology to Fortune 500s for millions of dollars." But once I started educating people on it, it just turned into a kind of a movement, 30,000, 80,000 followers, whatever the case is. And it really came from like leading with value, leading with the goal of helping people. But then it turned into financial opportunities. And I've seen that if you are somebody that's in the job market, subject matter expert in tech, you probably underestimate how much people want to know what you do and how you do it. And I know people that have 10 years in the game that are just having trouble getting jobs. So if you are in that kind of position, we'd love to just kind of talk to you about strategies to expand your personal brand online. So you can create more opportunities for recruiters, you can create more opportunities for business partners, et cetera. So connect with me on Instagram, Dr. J, DOCTAJ. And then also check out my website, bigstage.energy. Where you can learn a little bit more about how we help people connect to podcasts, conference stages, virtual events, but more importantly, we're a network concierge that will connect you to the people that can either buy your service, get you a job, invest in your startup, or just influencers that can amplify who you are so that you can create more opportunities. So definitely make sure we connect there. And then also make sure you follow Big Tech Energy podcast on YouTube, subscribe more so. And then we're on Spotify and all the things. So yeah, make sure that you come to MidwestCon next year. Shout out to Rob Richardson. Shout out to, Disrupt Now. Make sure you check their podcast out as well. Amazing content there. And until next time, thank you for joining Big Tech Energy. We're out.